Hello, and welcome to Spotlight on Education. I'm Dr. Jamie Savedoff, the Superintendent of Schools in East Brunswick. My guests today are Dr. Beverly Finnegan, the Supervisor of Math and Basic Skills, and Mrs. Carlotta Miller, the Supervisor of English and Staff Development. Today we will be discussing the Summer Academy. Mrs. Miller, can you give us an overview of how the Summer Academy came to be and what needs it serves in East Brunswick Public Schools?
Yes, Dr. Savedoff. Prior to the Academy, we did have a summer school program in place for kindergarten through 12th grade. This program was remedial in nature, and it was designed to provide a little extra help for students who needed help in reading, writing, and math. And then it was an opportunity also for students in grades 6 through 12 to make up classes that they had failed during the school year. Dr. Joanne Magistro, who was the assistant superintendent in charge of student services at the time, did an extensive study of this program. And after surveying parents and students who had attended and also analyzing some of the academic results, she discovered that the only reason why the older students were in summer school to begin with was because they had not worked as hard as they should have during the school year, and that there was really no significant improvement in the remedial program for the K-5 students. Therefore, we really realized that we had to re-examine this program and do something that would help our students. The summer before the Academy, a team of teachers and administrators visited several exemplary programs throughout the state. And we also did extensive research on what would make a really good summer academy. The results of those studies are in the academy that we have now. We recognized that third grade was really a critical juncture for our students, that if they had not become fluent readers and writers by this time, they were going to experience a lot of difficulty, not only in third grade, but in all of their future years. So our primary goal was to ensure that every third grader in East Brunswick was fluent in reading and writing. So based on all of this information, research, studying other programs, we designed the Elementary Summer Academy.
Excellent. Now, having done that, can you describe for us specifically the program and what it entails and what students are involved in?
Yes. First of all, the program begins by identifying the students who are really in need of remedial instruction in reading, writing, and math. Only the students who are identified based on their portfolio results in K-2 and inclusion in basic skills or standardized tests are eligible for the Academy. Academy teachers have this information right at their disposal before the Academy begins, so there's no time wasted in trying to figure out what to teach. The teachers know at that point what the child needs, and they plan the instruction around that. Next, we have extensive teacher training. The first year, teachers received 4 days of training in the areas of phonemic awareness, which is another name for phonics, comprehension strategies, and writing instruction. The organization of the day is very precise. The students, there are only 8 students in a group, and there's an instructional aide who rotates among the classes in that grade level. This makes it possible for a really important component of the program, which is individualized instruction. Every student receives 15 minutes a day of individualized instruction. They also have small group instruction, and they meet for 5 days a week, 4 hours a day, for a total of 60 hours of intensive instruction in reading and writing or math. Also, the materials are new for the students. They don't open a book and say, you know, I read this during the school year. Everything is new and different for them. The reading and writing component consists of phonemic awareness, as I mentioned before, specific comprehension strategies, and direct writing. Our goal was not only to get the students up to grade level by the time they entered school in the fall, but actually to go a little bit beyond. So, you know, these were very high expectations, but we feel that we really have accomplished them during the past 2 years.
So after the implementation of the program during the first year, what were some of the changes based upon the first year implementation that were made between year 1 and year 2?
Dr. Finnegan is going to talk about that.
Okay. The summer of 1999, that program had its major focus in the area of integrated language arts. The students in grades K through 2 were identified because of their needs in reading and writing and were given a half hour of math instruction as part of the summer academy. Students in grades 3 through 5 were identified based on their needs from basic skills, whether the basic skills program we had been providing during the school year had met their needs or not. And they were then given 2 hours of instruction in reading, writing, the integrated language arts, or they were given 2 hours of instruction in math. As we moved through that summer, we realized that there were students who needed math or needed more language arts, and we were not really meeting their needs. So we looked to creating the intensive program, not just for the K-2 population, but also for the 3 to 5 population. So for the Summer Academy of 2000, we provided the intensive 4-hour instruction in math for those students who needed math, and for those students who needed integrated language arts, they also had the 4 hours, and we had the 2 sessions. So you could be just language arts, just math, or you could be in both programs.
Okay, so children do have an opportunity to take either the math or the language arts, the integrated language arts, or to take them both as their needs dictate.
Yes.
Excellent. How's the program worked? What's our success, and how have we evaluated the achievement of students?
All right, let me add a little bit about the math program, because we went to the intensive program in math, which was not what we were dealing with previously. And what we did is we identified students based on their math mastery throughout the school year and how well they had been doing throughout the school year, and then looking for teacher recommendation. And then, as Carlotta had indicated, we followed the program that they were using, where we had intensive instruction, there was individual instruction, and the teachers did have prior information before the school started so that they knew what the students needed to practice. And it was only the non-mastered concepts that we provided for them so that they could come back into the school in September having mastered everything they had from the previous year and could begin to build on it. Because as you know, in math, you really need to build on the concepts from the previous school year. The teachers, as in language arts, used different materials, so they would be unique to the students. The environment was different in that we provided a lot of research-based strategies, and they used the computers in order to maintain the concepts that they had developed. If a student had completed all of those, we then might have gone beyond to give them a little bit of like a pre-teaching situation, so that when they did come into school in September, they felt positive about that experience. They brought some new knowledge with them so they could easily volunteer. And they were feeling much more positive about their ability to do math.
You mentioned some research-based strategies. Could you just take a moment and tell us some of the strategies that are used to help students master some of these concepts?
Okay. Some of the things that we did is we changed the way we developed the concept. We always start at the concrete level, but what we found is sometimes when you teach the concept the same way, or you teach a variety of concepts in the same way, when the student's being asked to recall that concept, they're unable to do that. So what we would do is we would try to introduce 2 similar concepts, like measurement using metric system and measurement using the standard system, in 2 different ways. We might introduce the metric one in the classroom, walking or looking at measurements that are meters or 100 centimeters, whatever measure we want to use, where then we would go to, let's say, the hallway and start to look and count the tiles on the floor and look at them in terms of feet and inches. And now we've provided 2 different settings. So if a student's going to go and recall the inches and the feet measurement, they would think hall tiles, and their brain would sort of know where to go and get that information. And that, we found, helped them better recall it, because it's not that maybe that they haven't learned it, It's just their brain doesn't know where to go and get it. And this has really provided a good strategy for teachers for them to help the student go and find the concept and be able to recall it.
And I assume that it also helps the students, so if they want to visualize what a meter looks like versus what a foot looks like, they have that point of reference and the ability to visualize and then make that transference from the metric to the standard measurement.
Right, because we're still looking at them visually, we're doing it auditorily, and providing the manipulative, the yardstick, the meter stick, and so on.
Great, so that leads us into what have we found in our 2 years of the program, and what are our results showing us?
Well, the first thing we found was that our decision to make it 2 separate programs was really correct. When we look at the students who were enrolled during the summer of 2000, we had 182 who participated in language arts and 155 who participated in math. Only 47 participated in both subjects. So there really was a need to separate the 2 programs and to provide intensive instruction in both areas. One of our major goals of the Academy was to remediate students so that they didn't need any more help after the Academy. We were very successful in doing this also, which I think is unique to our program. Of the 310 students who attended in 1999, only 70% of those students were even eligible the following year. This proves that the students not only achieved during the summer, but they maintained those results for a full year after the summer program. That is really impressive when you talk about anything with remediation, is making the achievement stay and remain constant.
So we had a 70% success rate with those students.
They weren't able to go to the Academy even if they wanted to, because they were doing so well in the regular program. We also do a lot of careful analysis on the pre and post test scores for each grade level and in each of those 3 areas that I mentioned earlier: phonemic awareness, writing, and comprehension. The results were absolutely amazing. Every student improved in at least one area, and in every grade level, in every subtest, all of the scores were statistically significant, which just really is astounding for all of us. As I mentioned earlier, we want to have the students even go above grade level expectations. So we designed a grade level standard in each of those areas in each grade. And with the exception of kindergarten, which is primarily a readiness problem, all of the students did achieve grade level expectations, which is remarkable. I also personally called the teacher of every student who attended the Academy at the midpoint of the year, at the end of January, and said, how is this child doing? And the majority of the students were maintaining those results, which is fabulous. We want to transfer all of this information into our regular program as well, so all of the teachers have now been trained in a lot of the strategies that we use during the Summer Academy.
A great success in language arts, and now we've completed our first summer in the math program. So what have our results indicated in the math instruction?
Well, we found that all students gained, that there was growth in all areas. 80% of the students will not, or at that point at the end of the summer, would not have qualified had that been in June. So there was a tremendous amount of growth, and the greatest gains happened in first and second. And part of that is probably because when the students had originally learned the concepts, they may not have yet been developmentally ready to master them. But by being able to offer them another 3 weeks of instruction in very small groups, they've now been able to master those concepts and came out of the Academy going into the next grade level, on grade level with their other peers in those grade levels.
And of course, I think as you indicated, our maximum number in any group is 8. So we have an 8-to-1 ratio to a teacher. So we get that intensive individualized instruction during the summer, which is really key for those students. Those are very impressive results. We're going into our third summer in language arts and our second in math. Have we decided to implement any changes, or what's new for this summer?
No. Basically, we want to continue the program that we have in the intensive fashion, so that we will continue to have the three weeks of integrated language arts, the 3 weeks of math, and the 4 hours each day. Plus, we are going to continue using both criteria that we had used in the past because we felt it really identified the students who needed it. And at this point, we will inform parents of their child's eligibility after April 30th. So we're in the process of gathering data, and we'll be gathering it between now and the end of April, and be able to tell parents that their child has met the dual criteria that we have and be eligible.
And that will happen sometime in May.
Yeah, we should be able to tell them somewhere after April 30th. So.
Okay. And?
Well, I just want to say that most of the time, when you think of summer school, you think of, you know, kids not being happy about going, but Dr. Finnegan and I both spend a lot of time in the academy over the summer. And these children are very happy to be there. They're enjoying what they're doing. They're really experiencing success, sometimes for the first time, and they're having fun doing it.
Well, it was one of the first tours that I took this summer when you took me around to see the summer program, and I think one of the things that was remarked on was, would students not only enjoy summer school during the summer months, but how could we put students into math, in the summer, and would that be too intensive a program? And yet our results were that students, and particularly the classes that I went into and talked to students, they were thoroughly enjoying the math instruction and the language arts instruction that they were receiving.
They do.
Well, there was a lot of activity going on.
That's right.
And it was very different, and it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
So and the teachers made it that way. They gave them a lot of things to do that were not paper and pencil. There were a lot of activities that they were involved in. They were using the computers, and so that kind of made it a little more exciting than what they saw during the school year.
And very strong achievement gains. I think that's the most impressive, is that we see from 70% in language arts to 80% in mathematics, the gains in instruction, that those students are not eligible and hopefully will never be eligible again in their school career for remediation. Tell us a little bit about our teachers in that program. Who do we have in that program? Do we use East Brunswick teachers, and how do we
Yes, we do.
get those
We encourage our really exceptional teachers to apply for the Summer Academy. Sometimes we request that we observe them before they are hired. So, it's kind of a tough process for a teacher to become a teacher in the academy. And we provide so much teacher training that, everyone is on the same page. Everyone knows exactly what they have to teach and how they have to teach it.
And Carlotta and I look over lesson plans, because they do very extensive lesson plans for the program. And so we get to look at the lesson plans and, if necessary, meet with them and share things that they could be doing or should be doing. So there's a lot of monitoring that goes on, and we're sure that a lot of the research is being used in what they do in the classroom.
And we have a summer school principal type position.
Yes. Our summer school principal is Lucille Fisher. She's a former elementary principal from the district. And she really knows her stuff, and she's in and out of the classrooms every single day, either talking with students, helping teachers. If a teacher has a problem that she isn't able to solve in the classroom, maybe she's just not getting through to a student, she'll sit down with Mrs. Fisher and talk about it and strategize so that the most effective instruction can be provided.
Yeah, and
She's
Lucille
really great.
gives awards to students weekly for performance and activities that they've done. So there's a lot of caring going on, and hope to get them to be successful and want to be successful.
Well, again, parents are asked not to contact the district until after April 30th, when the eligibility criteria will be made known. But we do encourage you as a parent, if you are invited or your child is invited into either the integrated language arts or the math program, to contact Dr. Finnegan or Mrs. Miller, and we strongly encourage you to have your child involved in this program. We know it's the summertime, and students and parents have a lot of things that they like to do during the summer, but we've had such strong results that we can't emphasize enough how beneficial this program is to children that are accepted into it. So Dr. Finnegan and Mrs. Miller, thank you very much for joining me today.
Pleasure.
And thank you for watching.